Hello everyone, just a quick update vlog on Mother's Day. Just went out to lunch with the family to celebrate Mother's Day and ate at my favorite restaurant. If you're ever in Gainesville, Florida, go to the Flying Biscuit. And I think they even have one in Atlanta. So I guess it's somewhat of a chain, but get the oatmeal pancakes. It is the best pancake you've ever had. They're huge and they're thick. I mean, 2 pancakes will completely fill you up. But anyway, quick update on maintenance on the RKT9. First time I've done oil change and air sleeve maintenance on the RKT9, as you saw on my Fox Stepcast video. Went pretty well. I was a little concerned about how easy the Stepcast would be to work on. It wasn't too bad. I actually called Fox last week and asked them about the oil volume because I got on Fox's website and there's nothing on Fox's website about the oil volume for a Stepcast. It just says all, 80 to 120 forks or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty much just like the standard F-Series as far as the oil change. So 25 cc's on the air spring side, and if it's a Fit 4 damper, it's 15, like I said in the video. So it wasn't that bad, with the nuts being way up inside there. My socket was barely, my extender was barely long enough to make it. So I actually went to Lowe's this morning to get some stuff and got a socket extender to make it easier next time I do that. I thought getting the rebound knob off would be hard, but it really wasn't that bad. But that video, that took forever to make that video. That was one of the hardest videos I've made as far as just time consuming. One thing I want to mention in that video, someone had made a comment that I just want to mention it about wearing gloves when you work on oil, work with oil, I should say. It's a good idea to wear gloves. And the reason I didn't in that video, and I have these I think are Blue Hawk or something like that. You can get these at the hardware store at Lowe's or Home Depot. So these are good to wear when you do work with oil because studies have shown, and this was what the guy said in the comment, which is true. I mean, I've read this a bunch, that especially used oil can be carcinogenic. But the reason I didn't is because I had to wash my hands over and over and over doing that video. And fortunately, I have a mud sink in my garage with some Gojo inside. Because I'm operating a camera and touching the buttons, you don't want to get oil on your camera, or grease. So I had to wash my hands just almost after every other step. So that's why I didn't wear gloves in the video, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Wear gloves when you work with oil, and I will when I'm not operating a camera and washing my hands all the time. So yeah, Stepcast was not too bad. Definitely not as easy as the regular F-Series forks, but it's I like the Stepcast, I really do. It's just how light it is. It works just as well as an F-Series, but it's lighter. So I'm still kind of thinking about the 120 on the RKT9, but whenever I ride this bike, just the handling of it is so amazing that I probably won't go with the 120 because I don't want to add the weight. That's kind of the main reason. But it's a good fork. The other thing I did was the air sleeve maintenance. So the air sleeve maintenance on this bike was not too bad. I actually did it without removing the remote lockout cable, which I was kind of concerned I'd have to do that because I really didn't want to have to put in a brand new cable every time I do air sleeve maintenance on this bike. But what I did was I just pushed the cable in from up here. So I just pushed it down and got some slack. Put the rear shock in the vise, in the bench vise, and do the maintenance that way. And if you've never done air sleeve maintenance on a rear shock, at least on a Fox, it is super easy. All you do is let the air pressure out, unscrew the can, clean everything off, put some float fluid on it, and put everything back together. I'm glad I did it too, because this thing was bone dry. There was no float fluid anywhere inside, and so it's just operating smooth as butter now. So super easy to do. Do your air sleeve maintenance. Every 4 to 6 months of riding, if you ride your bike regularly, is what I recommend. This bolt was like seized in there. It was oxidized. I had to, after I loosened it, I had to tap it out So I put grease on it and it's fine now, but that thing was kind of a hassle to get out. But the Niner is really easy to work on. They don't have any like spacers that'll fall out like some of the other bikes I've worked on. So yeah, air sleeve maintenance was not bad at all. I didn't have to remove the cable. That was really cool. Something I want to mention is the frequency of maintenance on Fox forks and Fox shocks. So I had mentioned in that hardtail versus full suspension video that you should send your shock back once a year, and some people are like, that's crazy. I'm just stating what Fox says, what Fox recommends. I'm not going to really recommend something on my YouTube channel that's outside of a manufacturer recommendation. So, you know, a few years ago, Fox used to say change the oil in your fork every 30 hours of riding and do the air sleeve maintenance on your shock every 30 hours. Now, if you've noticed on the newer stuff, they just say send it in once a year or every 125 hours of riding, which I guess for most people would be around annually. So they've kind of, you know, I guess they figured that people just aren't going to change your oil in your fork every 30 hours. I mean, if you ride your bike 10 hours a week, that's like every 3 weeks. Nobody's going to do that. I used to do it about every 50 or 60 hours, and that worked out to about 4 months for me. You know, I have 3 bikes, but even still, you know, if you ride your bike 5 hours a week, you know, you would have been doing it every 6 months. So I think Fox just kind of changed it and said, well, just send it back. Well, the thing is, it's pretty pricey. Like I'm not going to quote a price here, but it's been a while since I've checked, but it was well over $100 for each. So that's why I changed my own oil. I mean, I'll probably still send my stuff back to Fox for a complete rebuild, because, you know, when I do this maintenance like I did on the Niner, it's just the oil change and the float fluid change. So I'm not breaking down the damper and completely breaking everything open. But you know, changing your oil definitely will extend the life of your suspension, and not only make it, you know, like it just works better. You know, like the shock and the fork, they just work so smooth after you do that oil change and the air sleeve maintenance. So I just wanted to mention that. So I know a lot of people kind of question me about the frequency. You know, I'm real meticulous about maintenance. I mean, that's just the way I am. I like taking care of my stuff. I invest a lot of money into it, so I want to make sure I take care of it and it works well. So yeah, major TLC on the RKT9 yesterday. Took a while. I got it totally cleaned up, and I'm putting it away for about 3 weeks because I am solely focusing on trail riding for about a month. I'm going to get the XTC Plus kind of going as a trail bike and comparing it to my Trance. I have not ridden my Trance in forever. It has just been neglected, sitting in my mechanical room at work. So I'm ready to ride that thing. That is, you know, someone asked me one time recently, if of all my bikes, what's the funnest bike that I have? The Trance. Easily. That is the funnest bike I have to ride. Now, the RKT9, it's a fun bike too because of just how snappy it is, but overall, especially when I go up to the mountains, man, the Trance is just awesome. So what I'm going to be doing is comparing the XTC to the Trance, and we'll be looking at it as a trail bike, and I'm going to go on a trip. I still haven't decided if I'm going to take the XTC Plus on my trip coming up in 3 weeks to the mountains. One, because of just getting it up there. I'm not sure if we'll have enough room on the bike racks with the vehicles going up, but also we'll be heading out on some epic rides, like 3, 4, 5 hour rides, and we're only going to get 4 rides in, and I just can't imagine not riding the Trance. DuPont State Forest, the Davidson River area up in Brevard, North Carolina, some really chunky stuff. It would be nice to test the Plus bike up there, but since it's a hardtail, even though I think it's going to make a good trail bike, and that's what I'm going to focus on, even though it's a good trail bike, I don't want to be on a hardtail for riding some of the chunky stuff up in Brevard. So anyway, quick update on my channel. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.